New York Mets have turned things around, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Things were looking bleak. Last time we recorded, the last episode, I was recording during the 8-5 loss to the Rays. Justin Verlander looked bad. He gave up a 3-run homer, a 2-run homer, 6 earned runs all told, and not the kind of outing that we're hoping for. And I think a lot of people after that loss thought, okay, well, we can just basically chalk this up as another sweep. And you know what? Considering our history, our previous series, the fact that we lost 7 of the 8 series leading up to this series. I just said series in a series of series. Considering our records against subpar teams, we got no shot against the best team in baseball. Literally the best team in baseball. I don't know if people realize that. I mean, they put up a graphic, and I don't know if I mentioned this last episode, but like every single friggin' dude in that lineup was OPS over 800. What? How? I don't understand. I don't think we have anyone above 800 OPS. I think Nimmo is the closest at 791. So after that loss, it's like, all right, well, let's just grin and bear it. Let's take our lumps and move on. But did we do that? No, we decided to let the kids play. And my God, did they come through big time. Kodai Senga, not exactly a kid, new to the area, but not exactly a newbie. Solid start. 6 innings pitched. One of the few pitchers that we got in the rotation that can give us 6 quality innings. Give up 1 run, 12 Ks. I know walks have been an issue with him. I don't think he had a ton of walks in this game. We were down 5-2, thanks bullpen, heading into the 9th. And one of the kids, Francisco Alvarez, comes up big with a 3-run dong to tie the game. We then go down 7-5 in the 10th frame. And I think the booth specifically was counting us out. Like, oh, the second run is huge. I think Keith was mentioning it. That second run is huge. Second run is huge. First run you can live with. Second run is huge. Nimmo and McNeil get on. And Peter Big Meat Pete Polar Bear Alonso hits a game-winning 3-run bomb, and then he drops an F-bomb in the post-game interview. Now, the booth handled it with aplomb, I believe the word is. I believe it was Keith and Gary, and they were just like, well, we're going to downplay it. We're not going to really call it out too much, and I think that was it was good. Because it's like, hey, dude, this guy's running on all kinds of adrenaline right now. I feel like he brings an amazing amount of energy, and we all know that he's behind the LFGM movement. And if you ever had any question about what that F meant, he pretty much dispelled the rumors and cleared everything up for everyone. And I know Buck wasn't a big fan. I think he came out and said he wasn't a big fan to Michael K. Honestly, I understand the argument that like kids are watching, but like this is the 10th inning of a Wednesday night game. I think the time was, it's past the kids' bedtime. And, I think it's, parents sometimes hate having as a parent. I think I can speak for all parents, right? I think parents hate to be put in that position of having to explain, like, what does that word mean? Or why did that person say that? I think it's a simple sentence or less answer. It's just like, oh, you really shouldn't say that. And Pete shouldn't have said that. But he was very emotional and fired up and excited. And sometimes people say things that they probably shouldn't when they get excited. Boom, done. I just friggin' nailed it. Not a big deal. I think most adults that aren't Mormon or whatever religion that has banned profanity, it's just like, we get it, man. And I think a large portion of the fan base is probably excited that he did that, because it's like, that to me feels like the turning of the tide. After that F-bomb, we got kind of hot. Adam Ottavino and David Robertson, less than impressive, and I think that's to be expected, given the amount of work that they've had to put in. I think Ottavino leads the bullpen in appearances, and although Robertson hasn't gotten a ton of save chances of late, I think it's understandable, unfortunate, but understandable. And so we take that huge momentous extra innings win, something that we saw a lot last year and we have not really seen any of this year. And we took it into Thursday's contest, And Tyler McGill gave us 6 quality innings pitched. Again, that's the bugaboo, right? That 6-inning benchmark is where we want to get to with our starting rotation. And McGill got us there. 6 innings pitched against a very good Rays lineup. Only 4 strikeouts, but only 2 earned runs. Then we got Brooks Raley, Jeff Brigham, and David Robertson holding down the fort. But they did get a lot of help in the field. Some great defense from McNeil and Alonso to help seal the win. McNeil was 2 for 4 with a run. Tommy Pham looking like he might be coming out of the slump that he was in, going 2 for 4. And Escobar, not so much. That's 4 on base. Eduardo, come on, bro. We took 2 of 3 from the best team in baseball. If that doesn't get your frown upside down, I don't know what to tell you. You know, I think we'll look into trying to remove the stick from your butt, but no promises. So we take that good juju, the good mojo, our good winning ways, the positive energy into the series against the Guardians. This is in Cleveland, I believe.
Okay, I found this on the web for the series against the Guardians. This is in Cleveland. I really check it out.
I will not check it out. Fucking Siri. 10-9 extra innings win. We went so long the whole season without these great comebacks, and then we're getting spoiled in a matter of mere 48 hours, days between extra inning wins and comeback wins. More reminding us more of what we had in last year in 2022. And it's in large part to the kids. Let the kids play. We were down 5-0 entering the 5th. Carlos Carrasco, Cookie, got knocked around, 5 innings, 5 runs. Dominic Leone, not so great, also giving up 2 runs. Drew Smith faltered in extras, but he ended up getting the W. But you had Francisco Alvarez, ding dong, Brett Brady, yard job. Alonso, grand slam, almost fell rounding the bases. He was so goddamn excited. If you don't love this guy with every fiber of your being, every inch of your soul, I don't know. There are a lot of hobbies out there. Google it. Down 9-7 in the 10th. Vientos knocks in Beatty again. Vientos. Alvarez beats out an infield hit to knock in Escobar, and then Lindor knocks in Alvarez. Game over. I do wonder where the hell this club would be without these friggin' prospects, without Alvarez, without Beatty, without Vientos, without these guys. Is our normal lineup stepping up to the plate and helping and bringing that kind of energy? It's huge. I mean, and I should know because I am like Mr. Bad Vibes. I walk into a room and a part of them dies inside. Okay. I have a very bad aura. I walk into work and it's like, I had a woman ask me if I was there to murder her. True story. So I know the importance of energy, good energy. And I think these young guys are bringing it. By the way, calling them the baby Mets and the babies and the baby Mets, I'm not on board with that at all. 100% out on that. I think that's so dumb. And let the kids play was one thing. It's got a nice little baseball feel to it. We got just the kids playing ball, blah, blah, blah. Let the kids play. I was a little hesitant to get on board with that, but I'm all about let the kids play. Baby Mets is horrific and needs to be stopped ASAP. These are not babies. These are grown-ass men. Treat them as such. That is the last and only time I'll be saying baby Mets. I'm going to call them the kids because it makes more sense. That ain't babies. Get the fudge out of here, dude. So the Saturday games rained out. Gary Sanchez stinks, and I have no idea why he's getting this much playing time. What the hell did Michael Perez do to cause Buck to start Gary Sanchez and give him like so much time on the field? I don't get it. Game 1, Max Scherzer gives us 6 innings. You might be noticing a little bit of a trend here. Could I sing a 6 innings W? Tyler McGill, 6 innings W. Max Scherzer, 6 innings W. It means so much for this team to get 6 innings where we're within striking distance or ahead. You know, I think they mentioned on tonight's broadcast in game one of the series against the Cubs, but we're just playing from behind way too much. And it's tough. So to be able to get ahead or at least be tied heading into the 5th, 6th, 7th inning is is so important for us. We were up 3-0 in game 1 on Sunday, thanks to Max's effort. And then Ottavino implodes in the 8th. I honestly think people underestimate the toll that it can a newborn can take on a parent, especially if it's your first. If it's your first, I don't know if this is Ottavino's first, but I just think it takes a toll, and it can't be understated. And so I know that he's been kind of uneven and inconsistent of late, and I'm going to blame paternity. Jose Ramirez is a problem. He was a problem for us all series. It felt like every time he got up, he was going to go yard, and sure enough, he did again. And then Starling Marte, a guy who I thought there were some really poor at-bats of recent memory where he's just waving at the ball. I mentioned it last episode, but then he comes through with a 2-run home run in the bottom at 8th to put us ahead. And then Robertson, not exactly shut down, but he was able to get the save. Nimmo with 4 left on base, which is kind of uncharacteristic for him. And then Sanchez and Escobar also stranded 3 apiece. If it's not clear to most people out there, it's like, and I think the booth mentioned this, Escobar seems to me like he is probably his role on this team is as pinch hitter. And I know that they had him starting tonight against the lefty and Smiley, but I don't even know if that's tenable. And he did tweak his ankle early in the game, but he stayed in. And good clubhouse guy. I just don't know that we want to be giving up too many at bats to him versus Beatty and Sanchez. I cannot explain. So let me move on to game 2, and this is what we're talking about. Game 1, Scherzer. Game 2, Verlander. The Scherzer Verlander 1-2 punch, which we haven't seen in a doubleheader since their Detroit days, which I think Gelbsy ended up talking to Mad Max about, the last time that happened when they weren't family men, quote unquote. They were singles in Detroit, tearing it up. And then they're now both family guys. Giggity. And it was quite the pitcher's duel. This was Sunday Night Baseball. The broadcast team on ESPN stinks, and Justin Verlander made sure to let them know after the game in Francisco Lindor's post-game Q&A. This was a pitcher's duel. Verlander versus Shane Bieber, 2 Cy Young Award winners, and they showed up and showed out. Verlander 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run. Jose Ramirez again went deep. I mean, I don't even know how you approach that guy. I mean, it's like whatever. Verlander did have 5 strikeouts, so not appeared to get stronger as the game went on, which is great to see. Typically, when you have an elder statesman like Verlander, they tend to fade and they can't go as long as they used to. There's an endurance concern, but it seemed he was getting actually more velocity on his fastball and had 2 or 3 of his strikeouts towards the latter portion of his outing. Francisco Lindor coming up big against his old team. Game-tying home run, and then McNeil with the go-ahead sac fly. McNeil got interviewed during the game, and it was riveting. He talked about golf. Crazy that the crazy part about that interview, one is that they're interviewing during the game, which I don't watch a lot of Sunday Night Baseball. Sue me. I don't give a shit. But 2, that his first love is golf, and he wanted to play golf in college, and he didn't get any offers. So he's like, all right, I guess I'll play baseball. And I guess I'll become, one of the best hitting utility men in the league. I guess that's my plan B. That's my second option, is becoming the batting champion. I guess I'll do that. And I honestly wouldn't rule it out if he decides that after he retires from baseball that he's just going to friggin' dominate golf. I could easily see that happening. Brooks Raley gets the rare save with us having to use, in so many close games, having to use Ottavino and Robertson. And he get the rare save. He made a great play with the glove in that last inning where he picks it up and tosses with the glove to Alonso and then points to the crowd. Love that. And our boy Peter did struggle a bit. 0 for 4 with 3 left on base. He went deep in tonight's game against the Cubs. I think he's hit home runs in 5 of the last 6 games. So it was a rare off night for him. The booth had mentioned that he was been sick lately. And I know Jordan had his flu game, and Alonso must have had his flu games because Keith was mentioning, like, you can see how players play better when they're sick, because they're not overthinking and they're not distracted by a bunch of thoughts. It's just like, oh my God, I feel like shit, just hit the ball. And I buy into it. I can't remember any time that I have played sick. I've played hungover a ton of times, and I've played well hungover. So Monday we hit off, and of course we're now Tuesday heading into the Cubs, and we'll talk about the Cubs series, Rockies and Phillies coming up on the schedule. But let's take a look at the season stats so far. We're 19th in the league in runs per game, 17th in batting average, 18th in slugging percentage, 18th in hits per game, 14th in home runs, 14th in stolen bases, 24th in ERA, and that's been the main storyline for this team throughout this season. Is if you take away Pete Alonso, we're dead last in home runs. We have to be. And I think that's been the issue, is like, even with Lindor having a ton of extra base hits and being among the league leaders in RBIs, and Alonso leading the league in home runs, but there's slugging, but yet not much in between. So, definitely room for improvement there. The stolen bases is really nuts to me. I think Marte leads the team with 12 or something like that. And even he's been almost a liability on the base paths lately. He got really awful pickoff. He got picked off twice in one weekend, or it might have been one day, where he looked really bad on the first one, where it was just like not even sliding back, kind of stumbling back. And then the second time, getting picked off a little bit closer, but I don't know. That's kind of a bit concerning there. So you'd like to see more stolen bases, especially from guys like Nimmo and Lindor. And it's been a power outage, other than, I'd say Lindor and Alonso, you're not getting a ton of power. I mean, you weren't expecting to get a ton of power, Neil. I don't know they were expecting a ton of power of Nimmo, but certainly Marte was a concern, and Canna is a concern. And like, Canna is not even playing at all. I mean, Pham has started most of the games lately. So I know that Beatty has the potential to go deep a lot. Alvarez, especially. I mean, Alvarez has only played in like less than 3/4 of the games, and I think he's like among the club's leaders in home runs. So yeah, we need to get the bats going, crack some skulls. So where do we stand? What are the standings right now? Entering the Cubs game, first game of the Cubs series, 25-23. We're 4.5 back of the Bravos. We leapfrogged the Marlins and Phillies. We were fourth. We're now second. We're a game ahead of the Marlins. We're 2.5 ahead of the Filthies. And, I mean, if we're playing in the Central, I think we're half a game back. The Dodgers have entered the stratosphere. They've gone into a whole nother level of existence, nirvana, if you will. But our record would put us in third behind the D-backs in the West. So looking ahead at the schedule, we're down 7-2 in the 8th to the Cubs right now. You look at the Cubs schedule, they were 20-26 heading into this series, and they're in third place in the NL Central behind the Brewers, and I want to say the Pirates. They had lost 10 of their last 13 games, and you would think, easy peasy, lemon friggin' squeezy, dude. But we need to take a look at their rankings in the National League, because I don't understand how this team is 20-26. I don't get it. They're 5th in runs per game, 5th in home runs and RBIs, 3rd in stolen bases, 3rd in batting average, 1st in on-base percentage, 5th in slugging, 5th in OPS. And it's like, okay, well then it must be a pitching issue, right? That's kind of the logic there, is like, how are you losing games if you're in the top 5 in pretty much every offensive category? It must be your pitching. Well, I don't think that's the case either. 4th least runs allowed per game, 4th lowest ERA, 2nd fewest home runs allowed, 4th lowest FIP, lowest WHIP, and fewest runners left on base. Weird. Just weird. I mean, I probably need to take a deeper look and get into the granular level of things, but like, on paper, if you were to give me those rankings, I would say they're probably winning the NL Central. They probably have a winning record. There's no way they're 6 games below 500 and not contending with those kind of rankings. So I wouldn't be shocked if we lose this series. We had some opportunities in this game to make it close after getting down big, thanks Tyler McGill, who couldn't locate, got behind in counts, and it came back to bite him in the booty. So unfortunate to get that kind of outing from McGill, because it was like we're riding so high after sweeping the Guardians and taking 2 of 3 from the Rays, 5 of 6. And now it looks like we're going to drop this one unless something crazy happens. But so after the Cubs, we're playing in Chicago, yet another road game. And I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but the amount of double headers that we've played is a little outrageous. And I think it's taking a toll on the team. I can't remember a season where we've had this many double headers in this short span to start the season. And you can say what you will about, they do get these rainouts, and that does give them some extra time to heal and lick their wounds or whatever, rest up. Even with the Monday off, that Sunday doubleheader and having it being so closely contested, an away doubleheader, I don't know. I just think having a doubleheader every week and sometimes twice a week, it can't be good for your circadian rhythms. I'll say that. So honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if the Cubs sweep us pretty handedly. And I'm wondering why they're not kind of battling for first place. So I don't know, maybe someone can chime in and let me know. But so after the Cubs, we then travel to Denver, Colorado, Mile High City, to face the Rockies, who I believe swept us last time we faced them in Queens. They're 20-28, so they're 2 games worse than the Cubs, and they're in last place in the NL West. And their rankings pretty much align with that record. Whereas the Cubs, you're like, well, they're top 5 in every freaking category. How are they losing games? The Rockies are bad. Yes, they do lead the National League in doubles. Congratulations. They have the 3rd fewest home runs. They're dead last in stolen bases with 15. I was critical of the Mets for not stealing more bases. That is a fucking travesty that Colorado has only 15 stolen bases. I am sorry, but Jesus Christou, what are we doing in Colorado and Denver? 15 stolen bases, 3rd fewest walks, 7th highest batting average, around the middle, below average on base percentage, and 2nd lowest OPS plus. So, not being selective at the plate, right? Some say the Mets might be a little too selective at the plate, but certainly not getting on base. And you can't score if you don't get on base. So that's their problem with their offense. Their pitching is horrible. Do you think our pitching stinks? Colorado is right there with us in every pitching category. They're last in runs allowed per game, 2nd worst ERA, 6th most home runs allowed, 3rd worst FIP, just ahead of us, the 2nd worst whip, 3rd highest home runs per 9, and the highest walks per 9, 2nd lowest Ks per 9. And listen, I get it. The Rockies have never been known for their pitching, and this is like real bad. So I would have said, I think when we initially looked at the Rockies, the last go round at the look ahead of the schedule, was like, all right, well, this is our get right series. And we did not get right. We got very wrong, and it was rock bottom for us. So hopefully things are different. I see several high scoring affairs, but I think the hope here is that our offense has an awakening of sorts thanks to the kids playing, and we can come out of there with. I would love a sweep, would love it, and I think it has to happen. But then again, you want to talk about the Cubs and where they're at. And why are they 20-26? Why are the Phillies 22-25? Well, I think it might be their offense, because you look at their pitching statistics and it's like, this is a pretty, we'll start with the pitching because it's kind of mind blowing. 3rd most runs allowed per game. Okay. 4th worst ERA. Okay. 4th fewest home runs allowed. 3rd most strikeouts. 2nd lowest FIP. 3rd lowest home runs per 9. 2nd highest Ks per 9. They're not giving up a lot of home runs. They're striking out a lot of batters, but yet their ERA is 4th worst, and they're giving up a lot of earned runs. So what's happening? Is it just death by 1,000 cuts? Very interesting to see that kind of with their pitching and their offense. I think that's where they're losing most games. Right? They're 4th in triples. Awesome. But they have the 5th fewest RBIs, 4th fewest walks, 5th most strikeouts, the 5th highest batting average, below average on-base percentage, and the 6th highest slugging and OPS. So, middling, I guess is the word to use. Inconsistent, all over the place. I don't know. So, my God, wouldn't it be nice to take, was it 2 or 3 from them right after Memorial Day? I think we start either on Memorial Day or right after Memorial Day, our series with them, and we're playing them at home, and that'll be a great way to end the month of May, which has been surely entertaining to say the least. And those are the Metros. I feel good. I feel it's probably the only good thing that I've felt about in my life so far is how I'm very negative about pretty much everything in my life, but I've stayed positive about the Mets. And maybe it was like, okay, as I mentioned, delusional, but you got to figure that we weren't just going to lay down and take this beating and continue to take this beating. Buck was going to do some stuff. Maybe Steve Cohen's like chiming in, being like, hey, just give this a thought. I know you don't like to let the kids play, but let the kids play. So I need to find out what happened with Francisco Alvarez. I don't know what the hell happened. Why is Sanchez getting, I missed something big, and I feel like a fool for not knowing. But like the fact that Alvarez is not playing and Sanchez is like, what are we doing? So, but as pessimistic as I am about the Cubs series, I do think we can make things right and at least start to make the Braves sweat. I want to do to the Braves what the Braves did to us last year. Okay? I want to make them friggin' sweat all goddamn season and then snatch the division from them in the last week. Although I'm still keen on the whole Phillies approach, where it's like, let's just hang in third. We'll let these 2 top teams kind of duke it out, and then we'll just slide in the playoffs and ruin everyone's expectations. So that is for real life, the Metros.